Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining Dana's Daily Doodles. And I thought that I would read you some information and verses on anxious and a worried mind. Fret not thyself in any wise. Psalm 37:8 tells us, but that's not that easy to do. I'm sure that we all worry a lot, and anxiety and worry are both attacks on the mind intended to distract us from serving the Lord. It's also the enemy also uses both of these torments to press our faith down so it cannot rise up and help us live in victory. Isn't that true? You can think of it in a lot of different ways. When these attacks are on the mind, it's intended to distract us from serving the Lord. You can think of it as not serving a good purpose because you feel kind of miserable, because you're just worried, you're anxious. It's very miserable. I go through that and I have to really reel myself in and just take some time and get myself to just quit going over and over the same worrisome things. It's almost like some people have such a problem, which would be me sometimes, not all the time, with worry that it might even be said that they are addicted to worrying. It becomes like a habit. I'm so worried. I'm worried. Just the words. Those are hard to hear. If they do not, as we do not, have something of their own to worry about, they will worry over someone else's situation. I had this problem, and I'm well qualified to describe this condition, that's for sure. Do you ever find that you do worry about someone else's situation? Or do you normally just pray for them, or you feel concerned for them and maybe help them through that situation? That part's nice. Because I was constantly worrying about something, I never enjoyed the peace. And this is something that you need to absolutely look at carefully, because you do not deserve to be sabotaged and always have to worry. Like I worry about little Tinker. Look at her sitting behind me. Isn't that adorable? She's so tiny at 3 pounds. I worry every time she goes and runs and plays outside. And then I just have to say to myself, just let it be, let her be. It's worrisome when a little tiny dog is so tiny. You think to yourself, her little leg is about this big, and something could happen, but God made her perfectly, and she's strong and loves to play and run and bark at 50-pound dogs. But of course, that's something to worry about. Because I was constantly worrying, my book says, always worrying about something, I never enjoyed peace. It is absolutely impossible to worry and live in peace at the same time. Do you agree? Okay, we all agree on that. Peace is not something that can be put on a person. You can't just say, for instance, if my daughter said to me, why don't you just quit worrying about that? Okay, it's not an automatic switch. It doesn't happen quite that way. It is a fruit, and it's the result of abiding in Jesus, if you choose to do so, reading the Bible, getting peace from resting, relaxing, reading good information. Abiding relates to entering the rest of God. That is what it's called, if you're familiar with that. It's spoken of in the 4th chapter of Hebrews, as well as other places in the Word. Jesus did give us his peace. In John 14:27, you will read that. But he said we must not allow ourselves to be fearful. Try not to allow yourself to be fearful, intimidated, and unsettled. In other words, peace is present in us, but it must be chosen over what our fleshly minds think. So if we read that again, peace is present in us. Peace is present in all of us, but we have to learn how to choose it. We can choose to be peaceful by choosing to think on things that promote peace, rather than things that open a door for worry and anxiety. There are several words in the Bible, and that does refer to worry. They call it different things sometimes. So, depending on what translation is being read, King James Version does not use the word worry. They use fret not. Same thing when you look at it. Okay, they warn against take no thought, for instance. Or it might say casting all your care. That would generally be the Amplified Bible. It includes several different translations of these and other phrases relating to the subject. In order to simplify the teaching in the rest of this chapter, this particular book says that they will refer to the condition as worry. So we can say, be careful for nothing, Philippians 4:6. Casting all your care, Peter 5:7. It's 1 Peter 5:7. You might want to look that up. It really is a great verse. If you want to know how worry is defined, the Webster defines the word worry to feel uneasy or troubled. That makes perfect sense. Also to cause to feel anxious, distressed, troubled. Yes, the word troubled comes up again. It's like a source of nagging concern, isn't it? A source of nagging concern. I have also heard it defined as to torment oneself with disturbing thoughts. Now, that's a huge word, torment. But I've actually done that to myself, and I wonder if you've done that too. When I saw the part about tormenting oneself with disturbing thoughts, I decided right then and there that I'm smarter than that. So we have to try and be smarter than that. But I think we can grow with wisdom other than sitting around and tormenting oneself. Why don't we, again, look for more wisdom on that subject, right? Worry certainly never makes anything better, so why not give it up? Is this true to you? It doesn't. It's like sitting in a rocking chair and going nowhere. Sitting in a rocking chair and relaxing is good. But if you think of yourself as sitting in a rocking chair, you are going nowhere with worry. It's just repeated. Another part of the definition from the Random House Unabridged Dictionary says, this is the way it is explained. And this is odd, but worry can come like seizing by the throat when you're looking at animals. Teeth and shake or mangle as one animal does another, or to harass by repeated biting and snapping. That's a for instance. It's part of a definition. Pondering that definition, I made the following correlation. Does worry do this to us? It's precisely described as above. The sentence that I used, seized by the throat with teeth and shake or mangle. Do you feel that way? Is it repeated biting and snapping your mind? Even after a few hours, that's exactly how we feel, isn't it? If you're truly, truly worried about something, as if someone has had us and shaken us until we're totally worn out and mangled. The repetition of thoughts that come and won't let up are like repeated biting and snapping. So worry is definitely like an attack. It's upon the mind. There are certain things a believer or all of us is instructed to do with his mind, and this we shall look at. We will be looking at the right things to do with our mind. Matthew 6:25 through 34 are excellent scriptures to read. Again, Matthew 6:25 through 34. It's when we feel a worry attack coming on. Let's look at those verses separately to see what the Lord is saying to us about this vital subject. So when you have time, if you'd like to reflect on Matthew 6:25 through 34, we should actually take a look at that. I will take time to do the same. Life is not intended to be of such high quality that we enjoy it immensely. In John 10:10, Jesus said, it's not like everything is just um, high quality, but Jesus did say the thief comes only in order to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have and enjoy life, and have it in abundance, says the Lord, to the full till it overflows. But the devil, the evil, attempts to steal that life from us in many ways, and one of them is being worry. Matthew 6:25, we are being taught that there is nothing in life that we are to worry about, they say, not any aspect of it. Hard to take that, but it says the quality of life that God has provided for us is great enough to provide all of the things we need. But if we worry about the things, then we lose them as well as the life He intended us to have. So it's when they reflect on Matthew 6:25, is not life greater than things? We can look at that. Matthew 6:26, aren't you more valuable than a bird? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father keeps feeding them. Are you not worth much more than they? It's just the way the Bible states that. Why be so anxious in Matthew 6:28 through 30? And why should you be anxious about clothes? It says, consider the lilies of the field and learn thoroughly how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his magnificence, which was excellence, dignity, and grace, was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is alive and green and tomorrow is tossed into the furnace, will He not much more surely clothe you, O you of little faith? We're probably very familiar with that verse. And then the last one I'll read is Matthew 6:31. Therefore, do not worry and be anxious, saying, what are we going to have to eat? Or what are we going to have to drink? Or what are we going to have to wear? That's amplify the verse a bit and include one more question. What are we going to do? So these are things that we should think on. These are things that we should rest in God and say, we do have these verses to look up, to make us feel better. And I will leave you today with 1 Peter 5:6 and 7. Cast your cares upon God. Therefore, humble yourselves, and it says, under the mighty hand of God, that is due time He may exalt you, casting the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on Him. For He cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. Please keep that in mind. Please keep the battlefield of the mind under these verses where we can find some peace. It's a way that we can work together to give us the faith that we can have daily peace, but we have to seek it. And I do hope you have a nice day, a good day, and a joy-filled day. And I hope you have some time to look some of these verses up. And Dana's Daily Doodles truly appreciates you being here. Follow, subscribe, like, and comment. And I look forward to the next time that we can spend together looking at ways to help each other with joy and peace. And also know that all of us do have days that are very worrisome or anxious, but please cast your care and look up some of these verses, and I hope it helps. Thank you.